Get ready for the action, because we are kicking things off with the UFC, announcing a lightweight main event for the Baku card in June. Rafael Fiziev is stepping into the spotlight to take on the rising talent Manuel Torres in what promises to be a massive showdown. This event marks UFC's second trip to Azerbaijan, and the anticipation is building for this clash between the seasoned Azerbaijani fighter and the Mexican contender.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we dive into the intense dynamics surrounding the UFC 328 title fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland. We hear directly from middleweight contender Brendan Allen, who confirms that Khamzat Chimaev's entire entourage has received a clear message. They will not jeopardize that opportunity. We break down the serious tensions and the explicit warnings being issued before this massive title fight. We continue with the insights from Brendan Allen regarding the Chimaev team's commitment to the fight. Allen reveals the clear message from the coaches, emphasizing that nobody in Khamzat Chimaev's crew is going to jeopardize the title opportunity against Sean Strickland. We explore the atmosphere and the unspoken rules governing the fight week leading up to this monumental contest. And finally, we wrap up with all the details for the UFC Baku event. Rafael Fiziev is set to headline the lightweight main event against Manuel Torres, while the co-main event features a middleweight battle between Shara Magomedov and Michel Pereira. Don't miss a second of this action, and make sure you are tuned in right now for all the latest MMA news. The UFC has confirmed the lightweight main event for its upcoming Baku card in June, featuring local talent Rafael Fiziev taking on Manuel Torres on June 27. This event marks the organization's second visit to Azerbaijan, with the action scheduled to take place at the National Gymnastics Arena. The UFC's previous show in the region took place in June 2025 at the Baku Crystal Hall, headlined by Jamahal Hill and Khalil Rountree Jr. Rafael Fiziev, with a record of 13-5, faces the rising prospect Manuel Torres. Fiziev enters the bout with a challenging record, having suffered a knockout loss to Mauricio Ruffi in January, marking his fourth defeat in his last 5 fights. His sole victory since 2023 was a decision win against Ignacio Bahamondes in 2025, which ended a 3-fight losing streak against Justin Gaethje and Mateusz Gamrot. Manuel Torres, a Mexican contender with a record of 17-3, enters the fight on a formidable trajectory. Since joining the UFC via Dana White's Contender Series in 2021, Torres has achieved a perfect 100% finish rate, securing first-round stoppage victories over Frank Camacho, Nicolas Mata, Chris Duncan, Drew Dober, and Grant Dawson. Torres has only been defeated once in over 6 years, suffering a first-round knockout loss to Bahamondes in September 2024, and has pocketed bonuses for every single one of his UFC wins. In addition to the main event, the UFC has also officially announced a highly anticipated middleweight matchup between Shara Magomedov and Michel Pereira for the same card. This card promises a significant showcase of talent in Azerbaijan. Khamzat Chimaev's team has received explicit instructions not to jeopardize the upcoming UFC 328 title fight against Sean Strickland. This assurance comes from middleweight contender Brendan Allen, who recently trained with Chimaev and was present for his pre-fight send-off dinner before heading to Newark, New Jersey, for the bout. Allen, who is fighting for his own shot at the title against Strickland, highlighted the significant tension preceding the event. Reports indicate threats of armed violence from Strickland, who has allegedly threatened to shoot the champion and his team if they interfere. Allen confirmed that clear directives were issued by the coaches to ensure the title fight proceeds without disruption. Khamzat's team, nor anyone on it that's part of his entourage or whatever you want to call it, is going to jeopardize that opportunity, Allen stated to MMA Junkie. He emphasized that no action would be taken to undermine the fight. Allen added that while they would not be responsible for any physical aggression initiated by others, he doubted any such action from Chimaev's side. He stressed that the message was clear. If you care about Khamzat, you won't do anything fight weak. You'll let everything be, and let Khamzat handle the job how he's going to handle it come fight night. Alan, who is returning to Chicago for training ahead of his bout against Edmen Shabazian, spent time with Chimaev and his long-term team to understand the dynamics. He noted that both Chimaev and his team are aware that Strickland is attempting to create chaos by stirring up emotions, but they are resolute in not yielding. Alan suggested that Strickland's tactics would involve verbal provocation, stating, "I know Sean's just going to talk and try to dig deeper and say stupider things, and try to get more reckless to try to draw a reaction or make him emotional." Alan concluded that as long as physical contact is avoided, the situation should remain stable, with the expectation that the focus will remain on Strickland's verbal exchanges. Khamzat Chimaev's team has issued a firm directive. They will not jeopardize the upcoming UFC 328 title fight against Sean Strickland. This assurance comes from middleweight contender Brendan Allen, who spent the final 3 weeks of training camp with Chimaev and was present for his farewell dinner before heading to Newark, New Jersey, where the bout will take place. Allen is fighting for his own shot against Strickland, who is the headliner. Significant tension exists between Chimaev and Strickland leading into fight week, with reports indicating threats of armed violence from Strickland. Allen confirmed that there was a clear message from the coaches emphasizing that no one in Chimaev's entourage is permitted to jeopardize the title opportunity. Khamzat's team, nor anyone on it that's part of his entourage or whatever you want to call it, is going to jeopardize that opportunity, Allen stated. He stressed that any physical confrontation initiated by the team members would not be their responsibility, but he expressed high doubt that such actions would occur. Allen added that the message from the coaches was clear. If you care about Khamzat, you won't do anything fight weak. You'll let everything be, and let Khamzat handle the job how he's going to handle it come fight night. Allen, who is returning to Chicago for a bout against Edmen Shabazian, noted that both Chimaev and his team are aware that Strickland is attempting to create chaos by stirring up emotions. Allen believes Strickland is aware of this tactic and intends to use verbal provocation. He suggested that while Strickland might engage in talk and reckless attempts to provoke a reaction, he is mature and unlikely to escalate physically. Allen concluded that as long as there are no physical attacks, the situation is expected to remain stable, characterized primarily by Strickland's verbal exchanges. The upcoming UFC Baku event is set to feature a high-stakes main event as Rafael Fiziev takes on Manuel Torres in a 5-round lightweight clash. The promotion officially announced the headliner on Tuesday, solidifying the matchup as a major draw for fans. The card also includes a co-main event middleweight bout between Shara Magomedov and Michel Pereira. The UFC Baku is scheduled to take place on June 27 at the National Gymnastics Arena, marking the promotion's second visit to Azerbaijan in as many years, following last year's event, which featured a light channel YouTube weight contest between Jamahal Hill and Khalil Rountree Jr. Rafael Fiziev, the 33-year-old Azerbaijani fighter, is ranked number 11 in the lightweight division. A staple of the division since joining the UFC in 2019, Fiziev boasts a 9-5 record, including 3 finishes. Despite recent struggles, including a TKO loss to Mauricio Ruffi, his popularity as the most popular Azerbaijani fighter makes him a natural headliner. Manuel Torres, the 31-year-old Mexican fighter, is highly regarded by UFC President Dana White. Since joining the promotion in 2022, Torres has a 5-1 record with 5 finishes. Ranked in the top 15 lightweight division prior to recent changes, a victory over Fiziev could propel Torres back into contention for a top 10 ranking. In the middleweight co-main event, strikers Shara Magomedov and Michel Pereira will clash. Magomedov, 31, is on a 5-1 record, boasting 2 knockout wins. Pereira, 32, is a veteran with a 10-5 record in the UFC, known for exciting performances and a history of fights by stoppage. This matchup offers compelling action, as Magomedov looks to secure a second consecutive win against Pereira, who is aiming to build momentum after a recent split decision victory.